the owners of Alpha Views Architects from Japan. Upon these opportunities, may I invite Dr. Ratapong Angkasit to deliver the welcome speech and the purpose of this activity. Please welcome.
ก็ที่มาที่ไปของโครงการนี้นะครับก็คือว่าเนื่องจากว่าทางมหาลัยนะครับก็ได้มีนโยบายที่จะสนับสนุนการทำงานและก็การเพิ่มทักษะในด้านของการทำงานในด้าน AEC นะครับก็คือว่าการที่เราจะออกไปทำงานนอกประเทศเรานะครับดังนั้นเรื่องภาษาเป็นเรื่องสำคัญนะครับการปรับตัวก็เป็นเรื่องสำคัญเช่นกันดังนั้นทางคณะจึงเล็งเห็นว่าการที่เราจะพรีเซนต์การทำงานในระดับ international level ให้กับนักศึกษาและก็คณาจารย์และบุคลากรและผู้ที่สนใจให้เห็นเนี่ยย่อมจะเป็นการสร้างงานตระหนักรู้นะครับว่าการที่เราจะออกไปทำงานนอกจากประเทศเราได้แล้วเราต้องเตรียมอย่างไรบ้างนะครับซึ่งเลคเชอร์ครั้งนี้เป็นจุดเริ่มต้นของเลคเชอร์ครั้งที่1นะครับเราจะมีเลคเชอร์ตามมาอีก2ครั้งนะครับซึ่งจะเป็นซีรีส์เดียวกันก็คือว่าจะให้สถาปนิกที่มีผลงานน่าสนใจแล้วก็อยู่ในระดับของ international level เนี่ยได้มาฟังนะครับก็เพื่อไม่ให้เป็นการเสียเวลาก็ผมขอกล่าวต้อนรับมิสเตอร์เคนทาโร่นะครับขอบคุณครับ
And now may I invite Dr. Pandin Unjanam to deliver a guest speaker profiles and his artwork. Please welcome.
The Alpha View Architect was founded in 2004 by Kentaro Takekuchi and Asako Yamamoto, and both of them are graduated at School of Architecture, Faculty of Engineering, Kyoto University, and then they established the Alpha View Architect in 2004. So there are many kind of the scale of the project, like a house, guest house, and also church for the design. And the concept of the design is try to concern about the human activity and try to play with the geometrical spatial for the experimental design for their works. Alpha View have the special lecture in many countries. Also, the Hong Kong as the winner prize of design for Asian Gold Award, and as winner prize of AR House, the Architectural Review London in UK, and he also lectured in ASA in 2012, and that he got many prize in when they established the office นะครับได้ไหมครับบริษัท Alpha View นะครับก่อตั้งปี 2004 นะครับโดยคุณเคนทาโร่ ทาเคกุชินะครับและก็คุณอาซาโกะ ยามาโมโตะนะครับโดยทั้งคู่จบจาก School of Architecture Faculty of Engineering มหาวิทยาลัยเกียวโตนะครับ Kyoto University นะครับบริษัทก็มีหลากหลายงานหลากหลายประเภทนะครับไม่ว่าจะเป็นบ้านเป็น Guest House แล้วก็มีรวมถึงทั้งโบสถ์นะครับโดยแนวทางในการออกแบบของบริษัทก็มีแนวความคิดในการค้นหามิติทางสถาปัตยกรรมและโครงสร้างในการสร้างสรรค์ผลงานออกมาโดยให้สเปซมันแสดงความเป็นตัวตนของมันเองนะครับโดยสิ่งที่สำคัญที่เขาคำนึงถึงก็คือเรื่องของ human activity แล้วก็การเล่นเรื่องพื้นที่ที่เกิดจากรูปทรงทางเรขาคณิตโดยทำการ experimental design ก็ตามนะครับเพื่อให้ได้ผลงานการออกแบบให้ได้ผลสำลิดที่ดีที่สุดออกมานะครับ Alpha View ได้ลงหนังสือนิยสารชื่อดังในญี่ปุ่นหลายเล่มนะครับไม่ว่าจะเป็นนิยสาร GA นะครับแล้วก็ชินเคนชิกุนะครับแล้วก็ไม่ว่ารวมทั้งเว็บไซต์ Archideli นะครับแล้วก็ตามนะครับแล้วก็มีการเลคเชอร์พิเศษแล้วก็ได้รับรางวัล Winner Prize หลายรางวัลมากมายนะครับไม่ว่าจะเป็น Winner Prize ของโครงการ Design for Asian Grow Award ที่ฮ่องกงนะครับฮ่องกงนะครับแล้วก็Winner Prize ของ AR House นะครับ Architectural Review London ใน UK นะครับแล้วก็ได้ไปบรรยายพิเศษที่งานอาสาปี 2012 นะครับที่กรุงเทพนะครับผมนะครับโดยในรายละเอียดของผลงานเนี่ยเดี๋ยวให้เจ้าตัวมานำเสนอให้กับนักศึกษาแล้วก็ผู้ที่ร่วมฟังทุกท่านนะครับผม so I I think it's on time, so maybe, ladies and gentlemen, please give a big hand to Mr. Kentaro Takekuchi from Alpha View Architects.
Thank you very much for inviting me to Chiang Mai University, and I like to travel to see the architecture, and I like to conversation with the students also. So I appreciate this occasion. Thank you. I'd like to start my lecture with this time, and I'm from the Kyoto, which is the 500 kilometers from Tokyo, and this is the Kyoto city was the old capital of Japan, and it's very similar with the Chiang Mai city because we have the old capital of Japan for 1,000 years, and Kyoto city is surrounded by this three direction the mountain, and open to the south to Nara or Osaka. And Osaka is also the very big commercial city. We have the Kansai International Airport. And Kyoto, one character of Kyoto is like this. You can have the old temple in a center and a beautiful garden connecting with the ponds, and this is very important, connected with the mountain. So we will borrow this scenery to make a garden, or sometimes the stone garden. And the most interesting thing of Kyoto city is the mixture of this contemporary city with the traditional part. So I have the some similarity with the Chiang Mai, very interesting. And my project is, because of recent years, finite element method. This is the how to calculate the structural engineering. Give us the very three-dimensional technique for the architecture. So that's the reason why I'm recently trying to explore the new spaces. And starting with the two characters of the architecture. One character is the aspect of logical and reasonable way to design. You can see this is Le Corbusier's architecture, the monastery of La Tourette. And this designed by the very reasonable or rational or kind of mathematical way of means of design. And the other side, the architecture is through the way of emotional and intuitive design, which is the La Tourette. The other side, there is the very interesting shape of this church bird, and this cylinder is connected through the roof of this church. And you can see the inside. And there is no explanation about why is this shape. This design is second aspect of a very emotional design of architecture. And I'm thinking about how to negotiate with this reasonable or rational design and emotional design, intuitive design and rational design of architecture. And for that, I'm thinking, when I was traveling in Italy, I found very interesting windows, or very beautiful windows in churches or the monasteries or some building in hotels in Italy cities. This is the normal window of the building, and I found the important aspect of the window is the reflection of the side surface of the window, this area. And I feel very natural light from this side of the window. So if the window becomes like this, the window's influence is got stronger to interiors. And make this interior, this window, bigger and make the room like this. This is one of my strategy to design the architecture. I will go back. The original way, you can have the half shadows there. But important aspect of the window is this side plane or side surface which is catching the natural light. So if you make a window bigger and make the same scale as the interior and make the architecture itself, gives us the window architecture. That's the most best way to make the natural light to the interior, or make the exterior and interior together. So I'd like to show the first project, which is in central Kyoto city. And is a mixture context of the small houses or the some buildings. And this is a site plan. And how to make that kind of window architecture is to make better use of the geometry. So I draw this kind of V shape to make the window. So, and also with these two V-cut shaped window, I made this skip floor. So this 45-degree void and skip floor makes the architecture like this shape. Some contrast, but the photograph is like this. So the skip floor is horizontal, vertical windows here, and you can see from the first floor, the window gives the natural light to this wall. So you can see the reflection of the natural light from the bottom. You can see from the sanitary, this void is connected to the sky. And you can see this skip floor without big beams or gutter. So you can see the natural light coming directly to window to see some shadows here. So I designed the structure as a simple shape, like a plate as possible, like this. So this the picture is full of very weak shadows only. There's no strong shadows. So you can see the window, the other side of the window here, here, and also you can have the direct light from this window. And from top, if you get the 45-degree city view, you have the very interesting relation with the existing building like this. So you can make the mix of the direct light, and you can see from here the indirect light coming from the other side of the window. And the second project is a concrete structure, which is next to the Kyoto city, the Shiga prefecture. And the site shape is interesting because, like this. These are the buildings and these are the buildings. And this site is the last site. These buildings are developed and these buildings are developed, and this strange shape has the last part of this developing site. So we make the follow this edge of the shape of the site like this, and we put the height of each point like this, and we fold the roof like this. And there's a second floor of the central, called the second floor. And we put the opening from south and for the terrace. And there is a rooftop slope from here. So this is for the house for the couple, and request was very interesting because they don't have a living space in their house. They would like to have a billiard space in a center instead of the living space, and they would like to design the kitchen like a bar space in a city, and also they would like to have the home theater with the big screen. So they would like to have a concrete structure because of the soundproof. Home theater and billiard, it sounds very noisy to the neighbors. So they need a concrete structure. And also they would like to have no columns inside because this billiard space needs huge spaces for as a living space. So we have to fold the roof like this. If we fold the roof like this, this gives us the strongness of the structure. So the answer was like this. Just follow the shape of the site with this pentagonal shape with the folded roof. This can be a very rational way of design. So there's a kitchen here and the billiard space here with the home theater using this gap of the slope of front road. And there's a bed space on a skipped second floor. And to make the roof, we have to complete the concrete on one time. And it was a summertime, so we need the very well-skilled craftsman to finish within 30 minutes of the concrete, get solid. So make this kind of technique with the craftsmanship, with a pumping technique. So it completed like this. And from billiard space you can see the kitchen like this. And the dining table is cantilevered, with a stainless finish, like a bar design or something. And you can see this home theater projector plate here. So there's a sunlight from the south, And you can see the staircase to the second floor. And from the kitchen, you can see the purple wall in front of the second floor bedroom. And there is a sofa in front of the billiard space. So this is their request to have a home theater space. And this is the second floor. You can see the bathroom just behind the terrace there. And this beam is inclined, a little bit sloped, because this beam catch some width of the wall to spread to keep the wall should be. This beam have to catch some width of the wall, so this is inclined. So I make use of this shape to the headrest of this bed. This is a night view of this architecture. And this space is a parking space. There's a banana tree there. And this is another the steel structure house project, which is in the south of Osaka, close to KIX, Kansai International Airport, designed by Renzo Piano. But there's an old city called Kaizuka. And in the old part of Kaizuka city, there's a site like this. And the shape of this, you cannot see clearly the site, but there's the interesting shape is like this. So there's an existing building here. So we have to avoid this area. And we make this shape to have a garden here. And also I have to explain about the kind of Japanese latitude, climate, or the sun energy situation. And there's the highest in a south horizontal plane. I'm sorry about this is Japanese, but this is the summer south side sun heating is almost 1/3 or half quantity of this horizontal plane, meaning that if you have a window in a south side, you can get in a winter you get high heat from south side, but in a summertime you got the very small quantity of the sun heating in summer. So in Japanese house or Japanese public building should be long from east to west. So there is the interface can be a south side or north side to get the natural light. So I put this building make importance on the south side. This is north and south side. So cut the building to have the south side window on the top. So this is a good, the silver roof gives us this kind of reflection of the light like this. And the completed building is like this. So you have the city block is along with the seashore. So the south side is the 45-degree difference. So you can have the south side window like this, and from the rooftop you can see the south side of this direction. And city is designed to not to facing the south, but along with the city block like this. And along here you have the first story buildings, and here you can have the second story buildings. So we have the second story for the children's space here, and here is a bedroom with the living space in a first story building. And this is the entrance, and this is the second entrance to the service. And the structure is like this, with the very thin structure of steel. H shape is 1 to 5 millimeter with this thickness. And the structure is like this. And I'd like to design the roof as thin as possible to make this opening as straight as possible. So you can see the very thin structure. But if I put the many columns as possible, so the column becomes a very thin, like a partition size. And from the south, there's a very small H steel gives us this kind of straight section. And also this another opening is designed within like about 100 millimeter wide. So we can we did some contrast, but I designed this rooftop natural light, the gap from big opening there, and there's another window here. So we make the mixture of this natural light distribution. And for that, the lower part of the natural the window, or the partition of the kitchen, or the another window is kept in 2 meter height only. So this vocabulary and the second vocabulary are connected together. So the high side lit natural light and this small window, 2 meter height natural light, is mixed together, gives us the very interesting depth of the natural light. So you can see this high side lit to high side lit with the small opening, or the small furniture or partition gives us a shadow. So this photo is the best way of expressing this architecture, shooted by the Italian photographer. And he found out this natural high side lit light with the another opening natural light. So this kitchen partition, the kitchen wall, melting into this part. Because of some natural light distribution, the brightness of this wall and brightness of this wall is almost the same. So you can see the kind of it as if it were melting into the white, the one thing. So this second two overlay natural light distribution gives us this kind of very contemporary kind of way of photography or the space happens. And that I think that was very interesting. And also this overlaying this windows gives us when you move 1 meter from here to there, you can have the many variation of the shooting point like this. So you can see this sequence of architecture from the second floor. We can see the dining table there. And also you can find out the neighbors far away side of the roofs of the buildings. And this is the service concrete floor for the service function. And there's a surrounded small garden. And there's a kitchen on the right hand side, and then there's a dining table. You can see the entrance on the left hand side. And this is from the entrance. This is a photo from the kitchen. Sorry? Yes. And the next project is the kind of new Kyoto townhouse, which is the central Kyoto city. And there's a Nijo Castle there, and this is a UNESCO World Heritage. This is a site. And the interesting thing is these are the old town machiya with the kawara tile roofs, and these old wooden buildings. And some buildings are new buildings, like a concrete or steel, but they keep this void as vacant as possible. Or some buildings are illegally extended, but they keep them in a first-story building. So the site was like this, but if we make a parking space here, we will design the building like this. It's not good to this void. This void is shared by all of these Kyoto people. So we have to design the 3-story building with the void sharing with these neighbors. And also, the client wanted to have the parking space here. And if we make a parking space inside the house, we have to design the very long corridor to use the first floor. But we got different solutions. If we make another staircase here, and you can go up to the most important space of the living here, go up to the living space. You can use here to go down with another staircase to use the sanitary and bedroom. If you don't design the additional staircase, we need a very long corridor to use the first floor. That's my idea. And also, if you design the 2 staircases here and there, living space is the relation with this dining space or kitchen with S shape. And the dining space and living space have vertically have the gap. So if you design this staircase and also this S shape has some distance with that to solve that problem. And this staircase give us some boundary with this living space and the dining space. And third floor is the place for the children. And to make this the two additional staircase, to make this kind of three-dimensional cave-like, tunnel-like staircase space, we make use of the in-between space like this. And usually, if you make a void over the staircase, you cannot use here or use here. But if you make a staircase like a tunnel-like shape, we make use of the front and back, the space of space of upwards or downwards of this staircase, like this. And this building is a steel structure. The structure is like this. And the staircase partition is free from the structure, so we can design with a kind of truss shape as freedom as possible. And so with this staircase, we make use of the back side of the staircase with a washing machine, laundry, and make use of this space for the writing space for the husband. And up the other side of this staircase from the entrance, we make this function as a toilet. And still, this room is all of the spaces connected like this. And also, this staircase partition gives us the natural light three-dimensional reflection from south and north windows. So, if there is no reflection panels in a central area, the light is dominated, very strong direction. But in a center, you can have the three-dimensional reflection in the middle, so you can feel a little bit different atmosphere, even though in a far away from the windows. So these windows, this is a reflection of these partition panels of the window, staircase, and these are the middle scale of furniture and architecture, and gives the very complicated reflection of the natural light. This is reflected like this, and the mixture of the space is like this. So from the south void, you can see the interior like this. And you can see the staircase from the entrance and the staircase to the downstairs. And this panel hides the refrigerator of the kitchen or atmosphere of the kitchen. This and the left-hand side is the staircase from the entrance, main entrance, and right-hand side photo is the second staircase, narrow staircase to the downstairs. You can see the 40% voice sharing by the neighbors is like this. This is the south side void of the next building. You can see the bedroom and small garden here. This is the kitchen, You can see the toilet over the staircase. Husband riding working space is the most narrow in this house, but there's a staircase to the third floor for the children and staircase to the bedroom and sanitary, and there's some writing space. Night view. The right-hand side is the ground floor for the sanitary. You can see the movie like that. There's a living room here, and you can see the boys on the south windows and go up to the third space, and street side houses are there. You go down you can see the south side boys shared with the neighbors here. These are the second story buildings. It's a little bit complicated, but you can understand the space with this movie easily. These are many layers of the walls from the toilet. From the kitchen, there's a dining table there, and to finally the downstairs. This space is like the children like this space very much, and people have the instinct to enjoy the cave or go into the tunnels. This project, next project, is the reinforced concrete wall structure in Osaka. Ibaraki Station. There's a site like this. And the site is too narrow, and we have to design the 3-story buildings. And we cannot open to the south or north, so we try to deform the square shape with this paragraph shape. The site is like this. And this house is the client was the husband and wife with some cats, not with children, like a whole husband, same as a whole husband. So only 2 people are used this house of the 3-story buildings. And if we separate the building like this, the room is not used, is too many. So if we connect the room next to each other, and also I got the hypothesis to if we make use of the next room to the neighbor room, it's going to be interesting. And to do like that, I make use of the Voronoi diagram, like this. Voronoi diagram is in a central point to just separate with the same distance in a central point. And in a central point, if we divide like this, this is a Voronoi diagram. And if we divide the 3-dimensionally, the space like this, the space would be very interesting, and there's no same rooms in this house. for that, we need some parking space here, and in a top room, we have to divide the room like this. This parallel with this long line. So, how to do like this shape can be finally this. If we make the mathematical or geometrical technique of hyperbolic, it's easy. But to make a hyperbolic line, it costs a lot of money to make a concrete panel. So, from this parallel shape, make up this central wall to fold like with this line. So, in a ground floor, there's a parking space here and room like here. And with the first story and second story and the third story, the room is divided like this. There's no same shape of the rooms inside. The section is like this. So the exterior of this building is like that. The parking space, and from entrance there's a concrete staircase to the opening. And this triangle is cut with the opening. Go up to the front side opening with the staircase, and this is a photo from the living. So you can see the staircase coming from the parking space, and if you go up, there's the kitchen space on the right hand side, and this is the living room, and go up to the kitchen, you go up to the third floor like this. This is from the kitchen to the third floor, and you can see the window in the living room. And the central wall is folded with this line. From the third floor, you can see the kitchen. This is the third floor. And from the bedroom, there's a small terrace on a rooftop. Yeah? So, this is the photo from rooftop. And from the under construction, the concrete panel is with this diagonal line. So, everybody who walk in front of this building is walking like this. And this concrete panel is really beautiful, like a sculpture of the Richard Serra. It's the night view. And to design this Voronoi diagram or this concrete wall structure, I would like to have the space connected together. So there's a living room. You can have the natural light from direct with this opening, and another room is connected with this opening. So the natural light, the other side, coming from this reflection light, meaning that indirect light coming. So if you are here, you can see the wall is with indirect light, reflection light here, and direct light from here. So you have the mixture of this indirect light and direct light from window. So this is the second theme of this project. This is the indirect light, and this is the direct light, and you have the mixture. So there's the reflection of the light in a staircase and the direct light from the opening. So this house is connected to the next rooms, and also there's no same shape of the room with two persons. This is also, if you see this movie, you can understand easily. But I should have used the stabilizer to make this view. The photographer is in front of the window. You can see that these two windows influence on the one space. Going up to the third floor, and these openings are only the slabs. There is no beams or girders to make the shadow. This is the bathroom. This is the bedroom, and there's a terrace, and there's a inner terrace. And I try to make the camera upwards with the dada, like it. And I continue another Osaka project, which is the steel structure. This is the east side of Osaka. You can see the Osaka castle there. And site is like this, and newly developed building there, and somehow the existing houses are there. Site is like this, and building is, the three blocks are connected with the sky bridge or sky slope. And I have got some information about the interesting city, like Greek city in Italy, which is called Ostuni, the South Italy. And this town is like a big hill, and top of this mountain or this architecture, the houses are connected together with a rooftop terrace. Many houses are connected with one big roof on a top. And to go to that rooftop, they have to use a very small staircase on a second floor. And that staircase is not used ordinary life, because that staircase is very narrow and a kind of additional staircase. But I found if we design like a new Kyoto townhouse, if we put a small staircase to the rooftop, that gives us a very interesting circulation for the architecture. And for this project, I tried many models like this. This is a part of the study, but these variations developed to many shapes, and finally this idea just And because of the budget, I try to omit or reduce some staircase or sky bridge. But the client wanted to, even though if we use a low-cost material, they would like to keep our concept as much as possible. So this is the final answer. For that, 3 buildings are connected with these sky bridge or sky tunnel-like staircase. And on the ground floor, first floor is a parking space with a bicycle. And go up to the second floor is the main living space. It's connected with the bedroom, and there's another staircase here from the sanitary third floor go down to the dining space. So living space is connected with the children's space and dining kitchen. And sanitary is connected with this staircase here and also the bedroom. So I put another staircase here. So because of this, you can have this loop or saturation, or you have the choices, more choices. So if the husband is quarreled with or fight with the wife, he can get away from to the city, to the outside, without meeting her. This shows the transparent model. So the space is very complicated. So how to express the space connectivity in one drawing is takes some technique. If I use this kind of half-thrust transparent material, we can show some image of this connectivity of architecture. And also, this is the facade of architecture. If I go to slide like this, okay, you can understand what is happening here. I will go back the slide like this. Okay. So this is how the space is connected. So you can have the many sections of the architecture like this, or like that. And structure is the steel structure connected with this. And the main structure of this building is connected with the 3-dimensional or the big truss to the ground. So these columns is not the main, but this truss and this column. So this column is very thin structure, like 65 millimeter solid steel. So this is a very complicated structure and need very high skilled steel groover like this. Sections like this. These are the normal wooden newly built architecture. And this like this, and pilotty with a 65 millimeter steel solid. And this is inclined for the horizontal aspect power. And there's a 2 voids in between. This is the entrance. And because of this complicated connection, you can see like a kind of a city atmosphere, like a village atmosphere. And with this connectivity, you can see the very interesting three-dimensional relation with the front street. And wife or mother bring something to the piloty to their daughter or elementary school children. You can see the piloty, the people there. And people on a street cannot see the inside. But someone in a piloty, we have some connectivity. So, with this three-dimensional bridge, tunnel, or the kind of this bridge, you can see the atmosphere of the neighbors. There's a reflection light of the night view of the window of neighbors from here or some other buildings. So this gives us the half privacy and half connectivity. So this is another issue or another purpose to connect, halfly connected with the neighbors. To the bedroom, and from the bedroom you can see your voice here to another space, your building. And also there's some relation with the neighbor's building like this. Walk to the third floor with the bathroom, and you go down to another staircase or another tunnel to the dining room. This is the artwork of the glass artist in Tokyo. The staircase to the dining space, and from the kitchen. So active space is to some extent connected with the neighbors very close distance. You can see the living space there. And this corridor space, it has some function to do a study with their daughter or to do some works of the husband, and they can use multi-purpose on this corridor to the children's space. From the children's space, you can see the living space. And you can see the father or mother there. And sound comes like this, but has some privacy with this connectivity. And connected with, of course, the piloty space. And also there's information from the neighbors. So if we cut the context with the high wall, like a Tada Ando project or the courtyard house, it is very easy to make an independent privacy building, high privacy buildings. But that is not very interesting, and it has some problem with, for example, the disaster time. If you don't know the neighbors at all, it is not interesting to live in an urban city. So this building has some three-dimensional connectivity with the neighbors and have to some extent, the privacy inside. I feel there's also the movie from living space to the bedroom. Bed is not installed yet. Going up to the bathroom. Going down. You can see the very beautiful tunnel with the indirect natural light. From kitchen, and there's another corridor to the living room. You can see the people in a pilates like this. So it is, from the first sight, it is a little bit hard to understand. But with this movie, you can understand some complexity of three-dimensional architecture. So that's interesting. Do you think that's interesting? So.
Audio Jungle.